to another YouTube, my friend. How is life up there in Brisbane?
It's going well. Weather's beautiful. Class is going well. So yeah, very positive.
Okay.
Problems at all.
I even hear you may even have a place to live next week. That must be exciting.
Yep. Yeah. Place to call my own. So yeah, I'll be able to do more of my study and work and everything in one place. So that'll be nice as well.
Too good. Hey, look, what we're talking about for people today is for athletes who want to be elite, why don't they participate in mental training? Why do they ignore it? We think it's a very valuable topic. It might not be the most popular topic, but we're going to break it up into two parts. So today we're looking at the why do people ignore it bit, and then next session we're going to look at what?
So so like you said, today we'll think about, all right, so it's quite common that a lot of athletes don't engage in mental training. And instead of us being like angry or not understanding, it's like, all right, well, let's maybe try to unpack it, because I'm sure there's some good reasons.
Yeah.
And then next week, we'll try and frame it a little bit differently and say, all right, how should athletes approach mental training? And what is a good way to think about it and sort of conceptualize the stuff that it works on? So today let's sort of cover all these roadblocks or things that people might think about it that aren't true that still stop them.
Yeah. So for people that are listening that want to just tune out right now, really
Possible, very possible.
What you want to do is you want to listen for another couple of minutes, because the opportunity here for you as an athlete, it's one of the biggest bangs for your buck in terms of effort. Once you do mental training correctly, like you're going to get the most improvement. It's quite, I don't want to pump it up too much, but it's pretty damn good for you. So
Absolutely.
Let's go into some of these reasons why athletes don't get to that point and don't get to that realization. All right. So first of all, I mean, we got to look at this, right? And I used to start off every presentation with this, and sometimes I still do. I say, who here as an athlete thinks that mental training is important? And what do you think the crowd does?
Everyone agrees.
Everyone
acknowledges
their hands up, right? It's hilarious. They go, yeah. Oh, it's super important. Like it's one of the most important parts of like doing well. And then what happens, right?
And then, okay, so what sort of mental training do you do? Or does anyone do any mental training?
And then what happens?
Cricket.
the arms go down, there's quiet, and maybe you get in a room of 100 people, you might get 5% who actively do mental training.
Yeah.
For us as mental coaches, it's hilarious. It's now at the point where the gap between what people know is good and then what they actually do is so big that we find it just entertaining.
Yeah. It has to be. Yeah, that's what the video about is today, is like, if you think it's important, why don't you do anything about it?
Yeah.
It's like, all right, so there must be some reasons. So that's what we want to try. And if we can sort of maybe come up with a few reasons that might resonate with you, and you're like, oh yeah, that is kind of probably why, then we're on a good path to sort of moving on to developing a better mindset with it.
For sure. So let's start with the most obvious one, and one that came straight out of your mouth this morning when we were talking about this, which is people get uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. Now, bear with me for a sec here, because I've got a really good way of relating it that I hope people will kind of, connect with, which is a massage. Now, you and I have had, regular remedial massage for several years in our adult life. Now, as a kid, I never got it, and I didn't really know what it was about. It's kind of was like, I don't know, some weird thing that people got. I just didn't know much about it. And the whole idea, I guess, was a bit uncomfortable. Yep. Someone touching your body, and then, and then also when I was into running as a kid, the massages that I did have were actually really, really painful,
Yeah.
And so massage for me was not something that I associated comfort with at all. So talk to us a little bit about that side of things, and then how we can relate it to like mental training or mental massage, or what's your thoughts?
Yeah, so it's like the idea of approaching something that you think is not going to be pleasurable, or it's going to be really uncomfortable. And so the human brain is designed to avoid stuff like that. So you're going to get some resistance. So your mind isn't going to motivate you, go and do this uncomfortable thing. It's not really how we operate. So you're going to get this feeling, oh, maybe I'll make up an excuse, or I don't need that, or you know, it's not for me. And that it's like an initial hump that a lot of people they really have to struggle with. And then once, like you and I've experienced, once you have a really good massage and you feel the benefits, it's like, wow, this is amazing. Why have I not done this earlier? I haven't had these benefits for so long because of a silly misconception that I had.
Yeah. So look, like now in life, I really don't want to go a month without having a massage to get some of the aches and pains out. And I'm sure people that get older in life can relate to this as well. It's like, why didn't I come across this sooner? Well, the same thing really is mentally with your sport. Like when you get a good mental trainer or have a good mental session, I mean, you feel great for the next week of training. It's not just like a hot, warm bath. It's also skill development as well, and long-term kind of like improvement of structures of your mind, you know?
Yeah. Working on skills that you can use in basically every area of your life and throughout your life as well. So the benefits are amazing, and so you just got to be aware of why these little roadblocks come up. What do people engage with them for, and not use mental training?
Okay, so you used the word earlier called stigmas. Run that by for people that don't know.
Yeah, this will not normally come up when people hear the word psychology. So then you hear sports psychology, but you still have that word in the title. And normally when people think about psychology, they might think about mental health, maybe someone that's not doing well mentally, you know, maybe they're crazy. And so it kind of comes more with a problem related sort of focus, you know, oh, there's nothing wrong with me.
Yeah,
I don't need.
I'm fine. I'm fine. Yeah.
Yeah. So that word has a bit of a connotation with it, and that's probably one of the really big sort of blocking points for people is that I don't have a problem, or I'm not crazy, so why would I need one?
Yeah. Now, again, for us as trainers in that space, that's another hilarious kind of thing for us, right? It's like, whoa, you're at that point in your mental development. You're not even at the start line. That's how I view people like that. I'm like, there's plenty of territory to cover.
Yeah, maybe your arm is like incredibly painful, but it still works. Oh, I can still pick up a pencil or a pen or something.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean that's far
if you get a massage, it could get a lot better.
Yeah, it's far from fluidly functioning, huh?
Yeah.
All right, so like when we started going down this line of discomfort and the stigmas and, you know, the old school mentality of, oh, you know, I don't need that. I'm tough enough. I'm a one-man army. I don't need any help.
Yeah.
The other thing that comes up, and there is a bit of truth to this, is you do require trust. And like as you go in for a massage, it is exposing. It's vulnerable. You know, you basically get down to your shorts, your undies, and people are touching your body. It is a little bit of vulnerability. And the same goes for when you expose your mind to a trainer, there has to be a level of trust, right? So, I mean, I don't see a problem with that though, because you need trust for everything in life.
Yeah. Believe that person, your mental coach, has your best interest at heart when they're giving you advice and when they're working on things with you. They're doing this because they know it can help you and they want to see the best out of you.
Yeah.
That's how you need to approach it. And obviously you need to find someone that's competent and able to deliver that.
Yeah, like at the moment, I'm looking for an accountant, and you know, I'm looking like I'm at the fourth person I'm looking for. So you got to trust to share your financial information. You know.
Yeah.
So it's
don't pick anyone.
The same with everything. Like that's when I hear of someone that's gone for some, you know, psychological training, whether it's for sport or for life. One of the first things I ask them now is I say, "How was your experience?" And if they've had a bad experience, I just jump in quickly. I'm like, you know, you might need to go to like 3 or 4 plumbers before you get the pipes, you know, in the shape that you want them. So try a couple more if you didn't have a great experience, because you're not, you know, like people are going to gel differently as well.
Yeah. You really need to have a good relationship with the person.
Yeah.
And that's not going to be the case with everyone. Not everyone is best friends with everyone else. So
we're all designed a little bit different. So All right, now let's move on to another factor here. Now, it could just be plain and simple money. Talk to us about how money integrates with all this.
Yeah, well, it's for sure something else, Oh, is this another thing that I need to pay for now? I don't know if I can afford it. Is it worth the money? These are all thoughts that come up straight away as soon as you think about mental training. Like, oh, I already pay for a physical coach, or already pay to go to the gym.
Yeah,
Maybe I can just get away with it, not paying for this.
yeah,
Save the money.
yeah.
Honest or automatic thoughts that come to mind, I would say, for every athlete.
And look, we understand that. That's part of life with everything. Money is a challenge on this planet for pretty much most people.
Yep.
So we get it, right? It's just like, at the end of the day, though, it's going to come down to, you got your three big pillars are going to be, your physical body, your mind, and your technique. And if you're not addressing those with some type of coaching, you're probably missing out.
Yeah.
So you got to find a way.
If you approach mental training with a good mindset and take on board the skills and things that you learn, it's really not money wasted. You're not really risking a whole lot if you go through a mental training program, learn about new skills and try to apply them. I don't think you're going to look back and go, wow, that was a waste of money.
Yeah, I think that's highly unlikely. And that's the difference as well between people that go well with a lot of things. They see things as investments.
Yes.
They see it as, I'm doing something here that's going to improve long term, rather than, what did I waste money on here?
Or like a one-off purchase, or an expensive dinner or something like that.
Yeah, it's different to that.
Very different. It has the potential to give you payback maybe for the rest of your life. Yeah.
Yep. So there's the money side of things. And look, relative, like, there's different sports out there that cost different amounts of money. And then in the past, some sports used to be very expensive, which are now more affordable. Times have changed. A lot is different in the world. And actually, mental coaching is very relatively affordable. I think you'll find that it's a lot more doable than what you may think.
Mm-hmm. And the potential to get rewards are a lot greater.
Oh, yeah, it's huge. So, all right, let's go through another one. What about fear of a mental weakness? I mean, we've touched on it a bit, but go a bit further for us.
Yeah, so maybe that might also be something that you might think yourself, maybe I'm not mentally tough, but it also could be fear of others thinking that you are not mentally tough, or I'm mentally weak, I need a mental coach. And I think people might be concerned that how others will perceive them if they're seeing a mental coach. So that's another block that I'm sure a lot of people might identify with. Maybe I'll do it in secret that I'm doing this.
Yeah. I mean, the first 5-10 years of establishing my business, it was very hard to get referrals because people would see me as like their secret weapon. I've got this guy that helps me out, and I don't want to like refer him to like my competitors and stuff like that. Don't
want to share the secret sauce. The rest.
Yeah. So it was very hard to kind of get some referrals going there, but it's not a great mentality, because it's really like, everyone's got to work on their own stuff. And I always try and have this thing called an abundant mentality, where there's plenty to go around, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Plenty. It's just a great mentality for across the board, most things you want to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think helping others succeed won't detract from your success.
This is so much.
It will help you more.
Yeah. So that's another story. But this fear of a mental weakness still is out there in society. I'd love to see it eventually eradicate. And we're going to talk about more of where you need to be next time.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, that'll be the focus for the next one.
Okay. What about this one? You go to a masseuse and they say, look, your lower back muscles there and your upper back muscles are really out of sync. You're going to have to go see exercise physiologist, and you got to start doing some stretching and some strengthening to get things back in balance. Otherwise, I'm going to be just massaging here for eternity and not getting anywhere, right? Yeah. And you look at them and you're like, yeah, I came to you because I didn't want to do work.
Yeah.
So I talk about mental changes that a mental trainer or a coach might recommend to you that you're not that excited about.
Yeah, I think that's another common fear. People might think, oh, I don't want to have to make some big radical change to my life or start meditating every morning for 2 hours at 5 a.m. Or
Yeah.
so I think there's this, maybe a resistance to change that people, I don't want to change that much, or
Yeah.
I don't want to have to, maybe I don't want to have to do something I don't want to do. What if this guy asked me to do something crazy and I don't want to do it?
Yeah.
So that, I guess it's another automatic thought that people have when they think about approaching this, and they don't know the reality of what it's actually like.
Yeah. So what you do with a mental coach, you work on changes that are within your sphere of comfort, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're doing radical stuff, which is absolutely smashing your comfort zone, from time to time, that is not a bad strategy, but it's not something that you would do with someone that you're working with first up. You want to progress confidence wise and growth wise, and you want the trust to build. So, if really, again, it comes down to the trust factor as well, and also just working out a plan of, hey, I can take that change on, I can work with that, and a good mental coach will know your kind of boundaries and limits and stuff.
Yeah, expanding the comfort zone for sure, but not in this way that's not sustainable.
Yeah,
like it's a gradual growth that you're looking for.
Yeah, much better way to go about it. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's too much to be worried about there. But what's the last one here? Why start and stop? I mean, sometimes athletes start mental training, they've got over the first hardest hurdle, and then they just stop. I mean, I think we need to throw something in there about that.
Yeah, I guess it's an easy one to just let slip away if you don't put it, like you were saying, the 3 pillars. If you don't keep it as something that this isn't a one-off thing, this is something that I needs consistent effort, it could just sort of slip away. Like if you, as an athlete, stopped going to the gym, you'd probably see some physical consequences. But if you stopped mental training, you might not really look any different. Like the consequences might not be evident straight away.
Yeah, it's invisible,
So,
like a text message. Huh? Just
yeah.
goes into the space.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So that's why you've got to keep an eye on these foundational things that you work on, and your mind and your mental skills. That's a reality. They are one of those.
Okay, so tell me this, right? Like you've done a fair amount of time in gyms and stuff like that. So if you did, like if you saw someone who's done 6 weeks in the gym versus 6 weeks of someone doing mental training, I mean, visibly, what do you see?
Well, I mean, I think you would be able to tell if someone's in a really good mental space.
Yeah.
I think you'll be able to tell their demeanor, how they talk to others, their body language. They might almost have a bit of an aura around them. This is a confident, happy person that is probably in line with their purpose. They're doing the things that they want to be doing to achieve what they want to achieve. You would see it, I think.
Okay.
That it's also easy for it to maybe slip away, and people to just not give it its due credit.
Yeah. So sometimes it can be harder for people to see, than say, let's say they've done 6 weeks on their body and their biceps are a bit bigger, and someone runs into them in the street and they're like, damn, you're looking good. Like, what happened to your guns? Like, oh yeah, I've been working out, but you can get the same effect, like you say, mentally, but sometimes people don't notice it, because it's not sticking out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But eventually it does. I mean, you know when someone walks in a room and they've got that confidence about them, you just feel it, really.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, the rewards probably start out small and unnoticeable and on the inside, and then they compound, like we've talked about, and then you're just in a completely different place.
Yeah. All right. So, look, probably enough on that for today, content wise. What about a takeaway for people on our part 1 series here of why athletes don't train or how they do train? What's a takeaway?
Yeah, I guess think about, maybe spend 2 minutes thinking about, have you ever had any resistance to doing mental training? Write it down. Or what sort of thoughts came into your mind straight away? Oh, was there a resistance? Yeah.
Yeah, like key what you're saying there, first thought. Like what's the first feeling you get? Because when I think mental training, first thought is, oh, what a great thing. Right?
Yeah.
But it's not going to be the same for everyone. Like some people are going to be like, oh, that's disgusting. Like okay, unfortunately for this occupation, I'm going to say it, but what's your first thought when you say dentist?
Pain, discomfort.
A
Yeah,
lot of people still get through it, don't they?
yeah,
You know?
yeah. How much?
How much? How much money? Yeah. So look, I think the overall solution to that for anything is to make something fun. And I think you can make mental training a lot more fun than say some other things in life if you go about it the right way.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Doesn't have to be an absolute grind.
Mm-mm. It can be really rewarding, enjoyable process where you grow and learn and apply new skills and see improvement. So
All right.
yeah.
So let's not keep people here glued to their chair for 6 hours. What about next time we cover more of those practical ways for people to view mental training and how they can go about it? And
Yeah.
what about that?
Sounds great. How should athletes approach mental training? Yeah. We'll put our perspective on it, and hopefully it's a bit healthier.
Yeah.
A better way of doing it.
All right, folks. Thanks for listening, and we will see you in the next video.